Now this will be the only event moving in Brooklyn on Saturday, September 24th. Get ready for Kings of Kings 2. Kings of Kings 2. Vincy meets Greens. Going down inside 178 Newport Street, Brooklyn, New York. This will be one wicked fest featuring live from St. Vincent. Magical.
Everything this might
Magical. The Road Match King. Kemi and Malo, and representing Greens, Dash, Was Waves, Ludus Park and Electrify, Mr. Legs, Inspector, Push, Quickie and more. Some of Brooklyn's top DJs are coming to shell the place. Hosted by Big Pumps HD, and it's the official Miami Carnival Send-Off. Get your $40 tickets now on eventbrite.com, www.kingsofkings2.eventbrite.com, or contact 646-363-1020, 347-651-3745. Going down inside 178 Newport Street, Brooklyn, New York. Doors open 9 p.m. Showtime midnight. Saturday, September 24th. Kings of Kings 2.
Jesus Christ, mother walk. Look at people behavior.
Yeah. Welcome to Ride Along Live for today. It's a beautiful Thursday, man. Pick up yourself. Welcome to the ride. As you come in, share the thing. Say I share the whole nine. You know we go. Good evening to you, Marcia. I see you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for locking it down. We appreciate you so much. Joan, how you doing? Share the thing, guys. This program today, boy, I tell you all you. You don't know what I have to go through sometimes. You know, I'll tell all you. It is not easy being on a program like this, right? Because you get to go through so much different emotion. Starting from Monday when we had the Beast on, and that was a whole emotional roller coaster by itself. Moving to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and today, it's a continuation from yesterday in part because we have a family member that's on the program today, guys. Yeah, the family member of the deceased, the Nixiann Downes-Clack, the young lady that was brutally killed by her husband, Alexander Clark. If you've been following the story, guys, you would remember that just a few days ago, right, there was reports of some technicalities in the system that resulted in Alexander Clark being released simply because claims of the laptop that contained the transcript could not have been found. Yesterday, we had the lawyer on, Anselm Clouden, to give us a perspective from his client. And again, let me reiterate on what I said yesterday. Anselm Clouden is a lawyer. He's getting paid to represent his client. That's what he's getting paid. We can't be mad at Anselm Clouden. We have to be concerned about the system. We have to be concerned about isolating the problem, because there is a problem here, a major problem, a problem that probably it's far-reaching. And the implication is that it's not only going to affect this case, if that's how what they say, right? It's going to affect more cases, much more cases in the future. So I am surprised at this point in time. One, that there have been no police report. Or at least we don't know of any police report. Let me put it like that. I'm not aware of there is any police report as to the missing computer. Two, that I'm not aware of any information of a missing laptop that was shared to any media outlets to try to obtain this laptop. None. Yesterday, we obtained about close to $10,000 in reward funding from viewers. We put in our own monies and we promoted it yesterday. As of today, ladies and gentlemen, we did get a number of leads, which we followed, none of which I think is serious leads, to tell you the honest to God truth. None of the leads that we got from the reward that we posted yesterday, none of it turned out to be very serious. Now, in a population of about 100,000 people, I know a lot of people saying, well, nobody going to talk. But we expect somebody to know something. We expect somebody to know, just know something, just somebody who overheard something, somebody who was in a conversation or something. None of these things materialized, which kind of led me to believe that is either the story of the laptop is somehow fabricated by some person, and I don't know. I don't know if the story is genuine. It kind of led me to believe that there's no laptop to be found. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Of course, I want your views on it. Anna, hi, how are you doing? So let's get back to it now. So today we decided to invite the family member, a very close family member who actually know the story so well, she went on to do a documentary on the entire story. Let us welcome her on right now. And she is in England, my good friend. We go way back, actually. I knew, I didn't even know it was you, but it was nice to reconnect with you earlier today. Tell people your name, first of all, and a little bit about yourself and your connection to the case.
Well, my name is Kim. Nixiann and I grew up together from, well, basically when she was a baby and she was in Grenada before I left to come to England. And then when I left to come to England, she came when she was 11 years of age. So I would say we were very, very close.
Right. Well, Kim, you know the story very well. You know the story probably better than a lot of people because you actually went on to do a documentary. So I want you to give us a perspective back a little bit on this particular story. What really happened that caused this bloodbath of a situation in the final stages of that relationship? Tell us about what transpired.
Well, to be honest with you, when you're in a relationship that is a bit toxic, right? It's very hard to see or hear anything, anyone would tell you, right? Especially if you are controlled, okay? Obviously, I met Alex in England. My spirit has never really taken to him because I just find something was a bit off, as I've always going to maintain the same thing. I don't have to make up any lies about Alex, to be honest with you, because this is not going to bring back my Nixiann, you understand?
Right.
But at the end of the day, when they left to go to Grenada, I personally have no control of how their relationship was going because I'm all the way in England. I could only listen to what she tells me, and she never really want to go and put her business out there,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
But there's a little problem, and the problem is the mindset. Let's talk about the mindset of our people,
Mhm.
okay? Because in how we grow up, it's okay for, well, when I mean it's okay if a man is abusing or ill-treating a woman.
Mhm.
Grenadians or Caribbean people
Right.
as a whole has this thing, it's not their business, it's not
Right.
their concern, okay?
Are you saying there she was in somewhat of an abusive type relationship?
Well, if you're not in an abusive relationship, somebody is not that crazy to just flip like that one day, is it?
Okay.
It has to be something that was ongoing,
Okay. Okay.
and sometimes, a lot of the times, with us Grenadian people, we don't know facts, but we love to jump to conclusions
Right.
without knowing the facts. You understand? Because leading up to her going missing, as we call it,
Uh-huh.
right? There was a lot of really insultive, disgusting comments on Facebook,
Right.
right? And we're talking about our people, isn't it? It wasn't strangers that was doing it.
I
Okay.
want to. I know where we are, but I want to move back before that a bit because in 2009, so they lived in England for quite a bit, and they
Hmm.
moved back to Grenada in 2009,
Yeah.
right? Um, did she always wanted to move back? Was his intention? Do you know?
I wouldn't say that was her intention. I would say she was brainwashed by him to move back because he calls it a better life. But better
Okay,
life for who?
right, right. So you said she don't really talk about her business. Did she
No,
ever
no, no.
come?
She's very quiet. She's very respectable young. She was a very respectable young woman. You know what I mean? You would never hear her name calling in anybody's business or anything like that, right?
Right,
Because she keep herself to herself. But if you were one of the people that was close to her, you would know that something wasn't right.
right,
You're not making an assumption or assume. I've
right.
seen different stuff. I've seen things. Okay. And I ask her questions, but she knows how I used to be. I used to be very ignorant. Used to, I have to say, because I'm not that person no more. I would get on my high horse. You understand? And I think because she really did love the guy, she really did.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She really did love him. So obviously, if you love someone and they told you, okay, you know what, things is going to be better when we go to your country, you wouldn't think in your head that anything bad is going to happen in your country, is it? Really? You would
Right.
think it would be better.
Right. So they moved back to Grenada. They lived there
Hmm.
for quite a number of years. In 2014, right?
Hmm.
That around the fourth wedding anniversary. Did she ever
I think it's
complain of
fifth.
fifth?
Fifth one.
Sorry.
Hmm.
Did she ever complain about things getting worse? Like the situation got worse? Has she come and spoke about it in more terms to let people know if the relationship was on rocky
Well,
terms?
I could only talk about what I talk about with her.
Right.
From what I know, um, they was going to be separated. From what I know, that's what she told me. They was going to be separated,
Yeah.
and he was okay with that. That's what she told me.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Right.
So at the end of the day, there is no reason. Well, there wasn't really much reason for me to doubt that she had enough. Because if a woman says she has enough, who is anybody to question that? You understand?
Right.
So she was
Right.
leaving. She was leaving.
She was leaving.
Yes.
The reports that was in the newspaper said that on that said day, she somehow caught him in I don't know if she was present at the point in time where she caught him having intercourse with the 17-year-old babysitter. What do you know about the relationship?
I only know what Grenadian people say, and to be honest with you, I don't know how much of that story is the truth. I'm not saying he wasn't, because he was with that person, but of the said day in question, no, that person was not with her. That day she came from work, because I spoke to her the day before that, right?
Right.
And she said to me she had something to tell me. And I said to her, okay. She said when she goes to her mom, she's gonna talk to me about it, right? So that was the day before she got killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something didn't sit right with the whole he's okay with her leaving, right? So my last message was, I'm really worried, Nixiann. This guy, honestly, I don't, you know how I feel about him. I don't think he's just gonna just let you go like that. You know what I mean? I said I'm scared he's gonna do something bad to you. Can you imagine you telling somebody that, and that is your last text message, and you have to live with that for the rest of your life?
Wow.
So you see, that's the thing. Sometimes, people don't really know things. They only hear a day say, and that's the problem with Grenadians. They love to jump on a bandwagon and they don't know where the wagon is going.
Right. Right.
We need to stop as people and reassess things. Like, think about it. Think things before we open our mouth. You understand? Or ask the right question. Don't assume. Don't
Right.
just take somebody's word for it. Did you speak to a family member? Do they know? I mean, to be honest with you, what was very disappointing, because on Facebook they had it all over that she was sleeping with a married man, which was the man was actually her husband.
Hmm.
That's what it is like they really dragged her name in the mud. Now everybody want to play, they're so concerned. I don't believe in hypocrisy. I'm being honest with you. I don't believe in that. All of a
Right.
sudden everybody, oh, this, let me put it like that. Before the killing take place,
Uh-huh.
okay, where they were living in that part of town, I don't know where it is, because obviously I live in England. Apparently a neighbor, because I saw the comment on Facebook in 2014, a neighbor heard screaming and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But because, again, of the lack of knowledge of our people, yes, they didn't seem to want to call the police or get involved.
Is it
They could
possible
have
that
saved
is it
her life.
possible is it possible that it was happening regular? So a lot of people became numb.
No, darling, because you know what, I before I come to England, I lived in Grenada. I know how our people are. They
Right.
like to say it's man and woman's business. You know that as well as I do. They love saying that. You understand? And it's not right and it's not fair. If that person had spoken up because they heard something that morning, that's the morning she came from work. She wasn't out partying and clubbing. She don't do these things. She came from work. Within a couple of hours of coming from work, she was dead. When
Right.
somebody heard, they could have called the police. They could have gone and see what was happening. But no, we have this thing, let's mind our business. And then when we do that, and then news break out, people want to say what they don't know.
Right.
So do you see we have a problem in our system? Do you see that?
Yes.
Lack of education, lack of lack of knowledge. As the Bible said, lack of knowledge gonna make us perish. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We need to do better as a country. We need to do better than that.
So tell us exactly what happened. What happened? What was the chronology of events?
The chronology, I could only go by what he tell me. I can't go by what
Okay.
people say.
Well, based on what you know, because I also know that you did a documentary on it. What was the
Yes, I could
chronology of
I could tell you what he tell me
Right.
because I
Okay.
saw him in the prison.
Right.
So when I came down from England, I went, obviously I want to visit him because I needed questions to be answered. And he said, she was upset and she come at him with a knife, which is untrue because she's not a violent person,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
My take on that bit right there is that she was getting ready to go visit her mom. And he maybe realized that was the last straw. So he struck her. He punched her so hard in her face that he actually broke her jaw and cut her tongue cut, like literally cut. Nobody knows these kind of things. How do I know that information and I live in England? Is because I went and asked the person who did it himself. Somebody didn't tell me that. Somebody didn't call me to give me that information. He told me that himself. So now I had to honestly, if I knew that's what the guy was going to tell me, I was not going to ask him what happened, because I have to live with that thought in my head. But because I'm a changed woman now, God took that thought away from me. But it's not a pretty picture to visualize. The person you love, you look at her as your niece, because me and her mom grew up like sisters. You understand what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Yes.
It is very heartbreaking to sit there knowing that there was nothing nobody could really do, because once you struck the first blow, as you could see the size of him compared to her, she was defenseless.
Yeah.
You understand? She was defenseless.
So how did he, or why did he then, I don't know if he told you that, why did he then take it so far? Like okay, you hit her,
He
she was
said
still
he
alive.
lost it. He said he did not know what was going. He lost it. He did not know. Like when some people say they completely black out.
Uh-huh.
Basically, that is his version. He did not know. He blacked out. He lost it. He did not know.
And her 2-year-old child was at the time, 2-year-old child at the
Was
time
there.
was
Was
there.
there.
Witnessed everything.
100%. So I believe so. Yes.
Oh my God.
But you see, again, even though the child went through that, no one in Grenada really put themselves out to really say, you know what, let me like I'm talking about the authority, right?
Right.
To really maybe give that child the help that she need. I haven't seen anybody out, from what I know, I don't know anybody really come to get to really find out. You understand what I'm saying? It's like it happened, everybody maybe called and find out, oh, she's a, and then everybody just sweep it under the table. Now this happened, everybody want to play their care again.
Right. Yeah, and I totally get it. I think it's a human problem. Not only Grenadians, I've seen it in
Worldwide
other
problem.
islands. It's probably more of a Caribbean problem,
No, it's not
right?
a Caribbean problem, it's a world problem.
It's a world problem. Okay, yeah, it is. So at a point in time, she was somehow missing, right?
Hmm.
What did he do? How did he sensitize? What was going through his mind? Because after he did it, he blacked out, as he said, but he had a period of time where he
Well, he
came to his
called
senses.
he called the so-called 17-year-old girlfriend to come and help him. Now, I don't know which country or which planet we are living on for somebody to be accessory to murder and walk in the street free anyway. Obviously, only in Grenada these things happen, it seems like, because he called her to help him.
So after he would have done all of that, he called her. She came in and she assisted him.
Hmm.
Oh my!
Oh, yes. So it's not still fair on the family. Justice is served with one person, but the other person has a family member who is very high up in ranking in Grenada in the well, how in the lawyer being a lawyer. So
Right.
to me, it sounds a bit fishy as well, isn't it? Even though 8 years on, she didn't get what she deserved, because at the end of the day, she knew exactly where to tell him to go and bring the body to bury it. So how could that person still did not get no punishment? I'm not God. I'm not saying they should die or nothing like that. But mate, when you do the crime, you gotta do the time. And it's not fair for Nixiann, because at the end of the day, justice has to be served, right? Even if even if Alex wanted to appeal, that's fine. He has his legal right to appeal, right? Okay. But 8 years is nothing. That's what people get for carrying drugs. Okay. To me, a good 25 to 30 years, if the appeal went through, would have been satisfactory. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And just to clear something up as well, I do not hate Alex because I have forgiven him. And I want everybody to know Kim said that. I have forgiven him. You want to know why? How could I love my niece if I hate her father and she's half of him? That doesn't make no sense, is it?
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. Sometimes we got, not sometimes, we have to leave things to God. God is the ultimate judge. You understand what I'm saying? No
Yes.
matter how we feel right now, right? If you don't have that peace of God, you can't move on. And because of God's strength, I am sitting here talking to you right now, and I'm a different person. If you had interviewed me in 2014, I would have been a very bitter, unforgiving person. I'm being honest with you. But
Yes.
as time goes by, my life has changed. So I forgive him. Do you understand? I forgive him. I cannot talk about other family member. Do you understand? Because I live for me. But me, I forgave him. Okay?
Yes. Well, let's talk about the trial.
Hmm.
How long the trial lasted, and did he put up a defense?
To be
Because
honest with you, when I left,
he would have admitted to you that what happened. Um, did he put up any kind of defense to the contrary?
well, I only went in the courthouse once because obviously I only came on holiday. When I'm in holiday, I only came for the funeral, and I had my daughter with me at the time, so I didn't stay in Grenada very long. But I was following it a little bit, but it was getting so draining, so draining because one, he showed you where the body was. To me, that is guilty enough because I would not have known where the body is.
Right.
He gave us the insight that everything was done, and he's like he didn't have no part in it at first, right? Because that's how the story went from what I heard. He didn't own up
You
to
said that he
it.
didn't have no part in it?
Yes, basically how he was trying to make it look that she ran away.
Yes. I vaguely remember
Yes,
that
because if
other.
you get rid of her clothes and you like burned her clothes, it looks like she took the child maybe and ran away. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the police in Grenada, listen, I called them when Nixiann did not make it to St. Mark's, right? The time she's supposed to. It was like I called and I was like, where is she? Okay. Her mom said, well, she was meant to be here X, Y, and Z time, but she's not here. I called her phone. There was no answer. So I thought that is weird. So the mom was like, okay, she called her. She called, no answer. Now you're talking about a couple of hours went past, right?
Right.
We both know Grenada is a very tiny island. People don't go missing for more than maybe, I don't believe that. I just don't believe you could go missing for a long period of time.
Right.
Okay? Because it's small. Everybody knows everybody, right? So to me, I just start having this feeling that something wasn't right. I knew in my guts something wasn't right. But when he did answer the phone, he didn't say anything on the phone, right? He didn't say anything. And I said to him, where is she? What did you do with her? I knew straight away what I was pointing my fingers at. I was not like the people on Facebook who doesn't know my niece. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Where is she? So he was just there silent. Now, the police was calling him. He keep hanging up the phone on them and stuff like that. I called that police station so many times. My phone bill was very high, okay?
Yes.
I had to say to them, I'm not being funny. Nobody goes missing in Grenada like that. Something is not right. Until her mom kick up a fuss, go down, I guess, in town to really like beg them to go and, go to the house to see if she's there, what's going on. Now, we don't live in a country like England or America. We're talking about Grenada, where everybody seems to know everybody, right? It shouldn't take the police that long to even go and just check. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Maybe I'm not saying if they checked they would have find her alive. No, because I mean the death is very gruesome. It's not something I really want to go through again, but it's not something you even wish not even if you have an enemy, you don't even wish that on them. Do you understand
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
So to me, the police department was very slow in acting. Very slow. I'm sorry. Why should I have to be in England and having to call you to tell you these things is not normal? You're a police, you're trained, you went to school for that. You should know how these things work. We're not living in a big city. It's tiny Grenada we're talking about.
Okay.
So to me, they didn't do their job from the start. So nothing now even shocked me, to be honest with you. You disappoint us from the beginning. And people will be like, how could I say that? I can say that because they took their sweet time anyway. Even you're talking about even to search. We had people from up St. Mark's to search the area. Where were the police? Where were them to really go? But to them, it was like, you know what it seems like? It's a man and woman problem. She soon come home. Now, that's the mentality that gets people killed. That's the kind of mentality. Because why? They're not educated. We need to educate women as well as men as well, too, right? We cannot have this old time mentality that's not your business or is man and woman's business. The day you might not put your two pence in is the day somebody really end up like my niece. Do you
Yes.
understand what I'm saying? So I'm
Yes.
really hoping what I'm saying is not opening old wounds or going back in the past, but is to educate people, especially women, vulnerable women. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's not okay to be abused. It's not okay. It's not okay. That's not love. Love doesn't hurt. Do you understand? And in Grenada, that is something people don't really want to talk about these things because why? They're not educated enough on these things. They don't have an open space to be themselves to talk about abuse. Do you understand? Because if we have that kind of space, a lot of the time you hear all these silly incidents, and it's not only with the Alex situation, a woman get killed by a man. So let's don't even try that one at all. Okay, it happens in Grenada. Grenadians kill Grenadians too. So let's don't like try and sugarcoat it like they don't do these kind of crimes. They do. Okay, and even really bad too. Okay, so we need to educate young people. We cannot have this old fashioned mentality. We have to educate them, right? Do you agree?
No, I definitely agree. And oftentimes on the program here, we speak a lot about domestic violence and the signs of domestic violence. And oftentimes we even tell men as well as women, by the time you get in thumped and kicked and cuffed behind your head, it done way gone too far. It starts when you start to get that, don't wear that, don't go there. And all of these things at that beginning, you are basically getting into that domestic violence. They are training you to get into that. When they start to
Right.
put your family members against you and telling you like your mother is against you, or you're just separating your support
So
system.
exactly what you just said. He is not a Grenadian man, but that's the exact same thing he did. So you see, it's not really a Grenadian thing. It's a worldwide thing.
Well,
That's
abusers
exactly what he did.
abusers know how. I think abusers know how very well how to train. Because I have instances already that we interviewed someone and they've been in a relationship with a particular person and that person never abused them and they might move on and the person might go with somebody else, but he abused that other female or so. Um, so men as well as women have to identify the signs of abuse, right?
Because
At
they
this
prey
point in
on
time,
people, they prey on you, they
yes,
prey
yes,
on your weakness. The
yes,
thing about it is with these predators, right? They look for your vulnerability. where you are vulnerable, right? And if you tell them too much about your life or too much of the things that actually upset you with your family, they work on that to separate you, okay? But they make it look like it's love. And that's the problem we're having.
Right.
When a woman cannot
So
identify love from lust.
right. So and that's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're uneducated. I think that people get caught in the passion of love. They are in love, so love is blinded. Love is blind. So if he hit you, or if she hit you, and the person might come back and say, "Oh, baby, I love you," buy you things, and oh, it would never happen like that again. They have that overcome with love. They sometimes just look past it, right? And it's not right, but that doesn't necessarily say that they're uneducated. They have that strong passion, that strong love. Or a lot of the case, a lot of the instances, some women they become dependent on that particular individual. So that person might be the breadwinner. That person might be the person who's paying all the bills, and they just don't see themselves leaving. They don't know where to go. They don't have no other place to go. They are already separated from their family and their mother. They can't go back to their mother, and it's already separated.
They feel caged. They feel
They get
caged.
caged. They get caged in. Yeah. So it's not necessarily saying that they're uneducated. They I think they're they're in love. They're in passion, and a lot of talk, a lot of conversation need to be had on those grounds, and which we do a lot on this program. But I want to get back to the case a little bit, right? I want to get back to that particular case because he was charged and convicted for 60 and given six sentence of 67 and a half years in prison,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Did the family see that as justice for Nixiann?
Well,
Nixiann?
yes, it is justice. Nothing would ever bring her back. Nothing would bring her back. It is justice. 67 years. Listen, even if they had given him 30 years, yes, I would have been okay with that, right? To me, 67 years, were we trying to make an example out of someone, or do we normally give killers 67 years, 67 and a half years?
Well, to
You don't
life.
think that's one of the reasons why the case is appealed? You don't
Right.
see, you don't, you're not, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Do
Yes.
we normally give convicted killers in Grenada 67.5 years? Do we?
Well, based on what I read from the judge decision, the judge was saying because of the gruesomeness of the case, right? Because after he would have killed her, 5 days later, he buried her in a suitcase in a shallow grave at the back of some house, and the judge said that that was so gruesome that she can't see past not giving this guy life in prison. Basically, it was a life sentence,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it was a very gruesome act, right? The reason why the case was appealed, what we're going to talk about shortly, is a different story. But did the family felt at the time? Did the family felt, well, I know nothing, no sentence, nothing at all could bring her back, but at least he get life in prison, and we feel at least comforted by that fact. Were they satisfied with the judgment, or were they looking for something else, or were they looking for
But I
more?
can listen. Honestly, I am not gonna speak for other people
Mhm.
because me, I'm just me, right?
Right,
You can speak for me,
right,
okay? Because they're gonna have to talk for themselves, right? How they feel, right? But in a nutshell, to be honest with you, I thought, you know what, mate, that's it. He wouldn't come out to do that to another person. So to
right,
me, that was that was a good thing. A good thing in the sense that another person would not have to go through what we as a family went through. Okay? That's my opinion on this, right? But as I said to you before, even if he had gotten 30 years or 45 years, like a good amount of time, that would have been satisfactory for me too.
right, right. So he got 67 years. Um, the case was appealed on the grounds, after we spoke to the lawyer yesterday, the case was appealed on the grounds that he claimed that it was sort of self-defense in some kind of shape or form, right? She came at him, and so he kind of defended himself, and they wanted, they was looking for a lesser sentence from the 67 years to life.
Okay. So that's
Now,
what you got from yesterday. Did you get that from that information you're saying?
from
Did
the
you get
lawyer,
that from the lawyer?
yeah,
From
Anson
the
Todd.
lawyer, you saying to me that he said he did this in self-defense.
Well, yes, it was. I can't remember the exact term that he used, so I don't want to quote him on that.
No,
But
I know.
within those contexts, right? That
Mhm.
it wasn't on the merit. It wasn't on the merit of the case to say, well, okay, he didn't do it, right?
Right.
He wasn't saying that he didn't do the crime. I
But
think it
he
was
didn't do it the way we think he did it. Is that
right. So
what
they was looking to
basically
lessen the sentence. They was looking to lessen the sentence.
what for the
Now,
last 3 years, right? Because that's what I got from the bit of information that the lawyer said.
say
For
that
the
again.
last 3 years, they was trying to appeal, right?
Well, yeah, they tried to appeal it right after. They file an appeal right after. As
Mm-hmm.
far as what I've heard, and based on the time frame, the lawyer told us yesterday that they kept getting pushback because there are certain documents that is needed to proceed with the appeal. The transcript was one of them, but they never were able to get that transcript information from the court. Now, let's fast forward a bit because he would have spent, what, 8 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
The child, the child. I got a message yesterday, and someone told me that a large part of the family already forgave Alex. In fact, they usually take the 2-year-old child at the time, which she's probably about 10 now, to visit him,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Has that confirmed? Has the child bonded back with the father?
Was she, but hang on, was she ever debonded with him? Isn't that her
I don't
father?
know. Well, it did was
Yeah,
she
but you know
debonded?
what? Listen, the thing about it is not, I don't know about this large family forgivement people is talking about. They could talk about Kim because I said it on record, right? I
Right,
don't think anybody in my family has ever come on record in the newspaper, in magazine, and ever talk about it. I'm the only person that ever spoke about this, right?
right,
And part of the child going to visit the father was out of the control of the guardian. That was the court decision. And let's leave that one right there. That
okay,
was not decision that was in the guardian hands. Do you understand?
I got
That
you.
was the court's decision. Do you understand? So you know when people trying to make it into something that it's really not. That
Right,
is that is decision, that is things that you don't have a control over.
right,
That is the terms, right? How they give him the 67.5 years. We got
yeah,
to go with all the other bits that they give as well. Do you understand? So
yes,
is you know, listen, let's just break it down like that. Now the child lost her mother. Yes, her father is British, right? What do you think would happen to the child if the guardian did not abide by the simple let me see, suggestion or what he needed? What do you think would have happened to that child? I want you to tell me what you think would have happened to her because her
well,
father is British.
yeah,
So
but
what does that make her? What does that make her? It makes her what? British.
yes, yes.
So you see, that's the thing. When people don't really know things, they need to don't speak sometime. It was not a family decision, like a group of family. I don't know who forgave him in certain
Well, no,
aspects.
I'm not saying that it did. What I'm saying is that someone sent me this
Maybe
information.
maybe one person did, maybe two people did, maybe I don't know, but I know I have. Do you
Right,
understand? And it wasn't like, oh, let's go and be bosom buddies and let's forget what he did. No, we had to abide by what was told You understand what the court said? That's it.
Right. Right about now, we're going to open up the phone line, guys. If you want to call in at any point in time, you could do that right now. The number is 718-701-5720. We're talking about this very gruesome crime that happened. And worse, just 2 days ago, we found out that Alex Clark, the man responsible, that was sentenced to 67.5 years in prison, basically was free to leave. He could even leave the jurisdiction. He's a free man. He was free because of technicalities, because the transcript of the hearing, of the first hearing, could not be found. Kim, when the family found out about that,
I found out first.
Sorry?
I found out first.
You found out. Okay, so tell me what happened when you found out. After you found out.
I was shocked. They wanted the family to know. I was shocked. I was very shocked to hear that. And the mere fact that the story, I should say, is a missing computer. Now, we're not in the year 1864. We are in the year 2022. Mm-hmm. So somebody, as I wrote it down for you, they are incompetent. Yes? And mm-hmm. I believe that somebody very high up, or people, not one, need to be fired ASAP. This is not a joke. This is people's life we're talking about here. Yes? Because you see, the problem with Grenada, everything has to be swept under the carpet, and we need to stop doing that. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this, what happened right there. Because I thought in Grenada, when they're taking notes of a crime, yes, even though you put it into the system, don't they actually have the paperwork as well? So that has gone missing too. I'm being honest here. Like, I thought if I come to the police station to report a crime, right? You would want to take down the details and all this stuff, right? And then based on everything that I say, you're going to go put it into the computer, I'm guessing, and save it on there. But you would always have a backup. You would always have a backup. So if that's the case, that computer, that so-called computer gone missing, maybe a lot of inmates should go and appeal to get freed too, because maybe their owner was on there too and they need to be freed too, right?
Quite possibly. Let's jump to the phone lines. Caller, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Long Island, New York.
Long Island, go right ahead.
I'm very disappointed, and something when I heard Mr. Clouding yesterday spoke about the missing laptop. The missing laptop is right. What is that? Right. That is the only.
To take down the details.
Sorry. Hold on, caller. 1 second. Sorry, go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Yes, that is the only item, the only thing that the evidence was stored on. There is no hard cover, nothing. This song is very fishy. That's songing right. Somebody sitting and somebody's listening and somebody know what went down. And somebody need to be held accountable for this thing. Because this guy, in cold blood, you murder her. You confess is right. As I said, no evidence, so you cannot hold him. You have to go. But something went wrong somewhere along the line, and someone has to be accountable for what went down.
Yes.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Got another caller on the line. Caller, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Go right ahead.
Okay. I listened to Claudin speak yesterday pertaining to the case in terms of him handling the case as a lawyer is supposed to handle a case as a defense lawyer. My take on this is that the event that occurred to the young lady was a gruesome situation. I mean, I don't think anybody would want that to happen to any of their family member, that their husband kills them or does what he did to that girl. But I also listened to the entire thing with Claudine yesterday, and what he was saying is that as a lawyer, as a defense lawyer, as any lawyer, your job is to defend and to find ways of making sure that your client gets his fair share. No, I don't agree with what the guy did in terms of what he did to the young lady. But I must say that we are constantly throwing words, because I looked at everything and all the comments that everybody was posting as regards to Mr. Clouding. But I also have to say that we're throwing so much heat at the lawyer who defended this man. Where is the prosecution in all of this? Who is responsible? Who was the person who was responsible for taking care of the evidence, the computer, the laptop, whatever information that was accumulated from this case? How are we not talking about maybe directly talking to the persons who are responsible for holding on to this evidence and making sure that it is in good care? We are attacking a lawyer in defending his client, but we're not asking questions about why didn't the prosecution ask for more time to deal with this case?
No, I believe
seeing
that
there was no evidence.
They believe. I believe that they did. The prosecution begged for more time. The prosecution tried to twirl itself into a pretzel to try to find out how they could get some more time, and they proposed all sorts of things, but it was not granted. Now, you ask a very valid question, and I think the right question, the right answer to that question is, and I found out today, is we need to be looking at the system, especially the clerk. Now, the clerk, right? Not the prime minister. I heard people, talking about the prime minister.
No, I'm not even going there with the prime minister,
because that is a separate co-equal branch of government, right? So we're looking at the court and the system, the clerk, and that's where it needs to start. The clerk,
yes,
and the clerk's supposed to be the person that's responsible for ensuring that, whether the documents are saved or backup, or they're supposed to have that system there.
Yes.
So they need to start there. And I think that is
Junior, I have been going back and forth, looking and reading people's comments. In my mind, it's like, as you just mentioned, how this person walked out with a computer? Where was this computer stored? I'm sure there's somebody that was going in and out of this computer. I mean, I'm sure, as somebody also mentioned, there are other inmates' information on that computer. So that computer just got up and walked. They need to do a total investigation as to where or what could have possibly happened to this computer before they start attacking a lawyer who is defending his client. We may not agree on the basis of what he defended him on, but we need to get to the bottom of how this system is really functioning and where did this laptop go. That's my contribution for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. We appreciate you. We have so much calls coming in. Let's take another call and then we go back to Kim.
A caller. To accept the call, one. From
caller live. Caller live. Where are you calling us from? Hello. Turn your hold on. Turn your background down. Turn your background all the way down. Your TV, whatever else you're watching us on.
Can you hear? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Go ahead.
I'm totally confused of the whole issue of the missing laptop, because in any workplace there is a chain of command. Okay, so if I'm in my workplace and my computer is gone, I have to report to my immediate supervisor, my manager, and she's supposed to take it. We can't find it. She's supposed to take it to her to the director, and it's supposed to go up to chain of command. That was never part of the news in Grenada. Nobody heard it on the radio that such thing happened. Nobody got fired. Nobody got reprimanded. Come on. It's just fishy, and it's hard to believe that ever happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my take on it. Because in any workplace, you follow a chain of command and you have to report. People have to report. You have to be called into the office. People have to know, well, okay, this happened. This should be announced on the radio that happened. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. All right, caller. Thanks for it.
How can something like that happen and be a secret?
Yeah.
Something is wrong and that laptop story is not true.
All right. Thank you, caller. Thanks for your input on this topic.
Thank you.
All right. Kim, come back here with us. When was the family? Well, you said that you found out, but was it an official correspondent? Were you contacted? Were the family?
I wasn't contacted by the authorities.
You found out about it on social media?
No.
Wow.
Somebody personally who knows about it.
You have a caller.
To make sure that as family we know what's going on. If we even know what's going on. You didn't even have it on breaking news as yet.
Wow. Okay. Let's jump to the phone lines. Got another call. Caller live, where are you calling us from?
Hey June, I'm calling from Texas.
Texas, go right ahead.
Just really sad. Yes. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a sad situation, right? And everyone is wondering and trying to make sense of it. But I just want to say that we need to look at this court system in Grenada. I know of another situation. I mean, it doesn't involve death or anything. But I know of another case, where, someone is waiting for justice, years now, and the lawyer is not doing anything. I mean, I think we need to look at what's going on home, because I'm hearing a lot of news about cases home where things just don't make sense. The lawyer is not fighting for their clients or, things like that. So I think we need to really look into what's going on in Grenada in our justice system.
Right. Thank you, caller. Thanks for your input. All right, guys. Again, we open up the phone lines, getting your take on it. I am very skeptical about this computer thing. There are so many questions, Kim. I can't understand. And yesterday, as I said, we put out a ransom. We put up a reward for any information, any valid information that will lead us to finding this computer. And I know people said, "Oh, you'll never find that information. That computer done gone already." But I was at least hoping that I would have somebody heard something. Somebody could give me some information. There was no valid information provided. And
but did you hear what the lawyer said? Did you hear what he said in a bit of the interview? He said you would never find the laptop. Yeah. Did anybody I pay attention to little details that people don't seem to pay attention to. That's what I pay attention to, not the things that people see and hear. When I heard that, I was like, that's a setup, darling. I'm sorry to say. Somebody being bought again. And as you know, it's not the first time something like that happened with our family, but that's a story for yet another day. But as I'm saying, this is an inside job. And it's putting a very bad stain on Grenada. And it will be in the British news by Friday evening or something like that.
We got another call. Right. We got another call on the line. Let's jump to this phone line right now. Call live, where are you calling us from?
I'm Grenada.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, what I realize, like, with my honest thing, I don't believe no laptop was missing or anything. Personally, I don't believe that. Because if I'm in my home,
yeah,
and my laptop go missing, I mean, I'm not no police or anything, but I know ways to find my own laptop, you understand?
Yes.
Based on the information I have on it, understand? Then again, too, the thing is, the justice system in Grenada is very slow.
Right.
Very slow. And it's like, the people who are responsible for that, they're not really taking the time out to really look at that. People only talk when something happens to their family or that person. But what has happened is that most of the time, you have people in prison, But if for like 5 years, I'm waiting for something to happen, and that has never, it's a long time, you know? And then again, too, you have people on the outside who waiting for justice for things. I remember the other man from, he met in an accident in like 1996 or something like that, like in Woodlands. And like he's still waiting for judgment. They keep on putting it off and off and off and off. You understand? So it's like a continuous thing. And it starts from the police station. Like things go missing from the police station, things go missing in the courthouse. Plus, they need to check the clerk. The clerk is the person responsible for the recording. So we are continuous recording in Grenada. You don't have nobody typing out anything. A continuous recording. So the clerk, so to be take care of that and put it somewhere safe. I can understand how, like a case like that you have somebody, this thing going missing. It's supposed to have like backup and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, you know. It's kind of weird that something like that happened in Grenada. You know, you can't blame the lawyer because the lawyer getting paid to deal with his client. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he getting paid to deal with his client. So at the end of the day, he had to do his best job to take his client. No, the prosecution and all these people know. They have to dig deeper and like try to figure out because if something go missing, they have to do so and do a perfect investigation from the clock go right down to everybody in that department to make sure like who was on shift that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was on shift that day, you know? So I mean, at the end of the day, people look at people, inside visitors will be looking at Grenada like something.
Yeah.
Because I had a personal experience like I go court and thing go missing.
Yeah.
You know? Where this thing happen? How that ever happen in a place like in thing? You should have backup. Be looking at Grenada. You know, you're a professional.
Yeah.
And you doesn't put all the information on one computer. You must have backup. You have flash drive. You have all different things to like hold information.
Yeah.
You know. So at the end of the day, I was saying I believe is like sometimes Clark is not the whole main figure now because you have other cases on the computer, as Mr. Cloudy said. He was saying like you have some big drug case or whatever, you know. So at the end of the day, sometimes it's something else besides Clark. Sometimes Clark may was lucky at the time.
Right.
But sometimes it has something else on the laptop or the transcript or whatever.
Right.
You know? But Clark case is supposed to be one continuous recording. That's supposed to be one thing. If a laptop goes missing, then you have other cases. So sometimes somebody else make
I'm sure that that's not the only case on the entire laptop.
Yeah.
But it just shows a big flaw in the system. What is alarming to this point is that no one has come forward and talk about it. There have been no press release put out. There have been, we are feverishly trying to contact members of the court that would talk and give us some information or give us some information to give to the public. At this point, we have gotten nothing. So there's nothing that we could say that's coming from an official source. So all of this thing is just leading to more speculation as to this disappearance of this. But one thing that we could say for a fact is, I don't understand how you could say a laptop stolen and there is no backup of that data nowhere, right? That is ludicrous.
Exactly. And the thing is now, see, Grenada had a tendency to believe that when something happens, right, in the next few days, like something else will happen and you go take away the thing.
Right.
You take away the whole vibes all going on, you understand? But the thing is now, you start from the clock. Start from the clock, and the clock is responsible for taking the information back to the office or wherever.
Yes.
And when the clock takes the information back to the office, then no. Yeah, people know. You know who you employ.
Yeah.
I know who was employed at the time.
Yeah.
And if a break-in was never reported, there's something within the office.
No.
Somebody within the office that.
Well, we did hear a report of a break-in, right? That again wasn't really made public. But here is the problem: if there is a break-in, then there should be a police report as to what was taken. Now, I don't know if there is a police report, but based on what we've heard so far, even from the lawyer, Anselm Clouden, who was on the program last night, he's not aware of a police report either. So it becomes very suspicious. And here's the other thing that became very suspicious when I'm looking into this case as well. We have a situation with this same break-in that they said that they had cash. They had not a lot of cash, but $30, $40, $50 or whatever that was there. And that's what we heard from someone that worked inside of the registry office there. There was cash there, but the cash wasn't taken. That's what we was told. But again, what's alarming is that there were no police report, and there at this point is no official word from the authorities, and we're still waiting to find out.
Yeah, it's strange because if a thief goes inside somewhere, they'll take cash. A thief will take cash. You know, how come it's just one laptop they take? So that office have one laptop?
Right. Yeah. And
that doesn't. I believe the laptop thing is a whole kind of thing. There is somebody miss something, you know.
Right.
Something happened, and the person who is to be blamed, maybe a person of higher authority or something like that, and they don't want to come out and take the responsibility, so they're trying to leave it like you cannot die out or something like that happen.
Well,
they're trying to have things.
I thank you, caller.
That's not the case.
Listen, we have to wrap it up. But thanks for your opinion on this here. Kim, someone asked me a question yesterday and I couldn't answer them. Is the family looking to take any legal action?
I cannot answer for the family, darling. I'm not their lawyer.
Right. Okay.
They haven't to be honest with you, they haven't spoken to, I'm being honest. Nobody haven't spoken to me about that, to be honest with you. Right now, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think we even have really deep conversation because all this is very fresh. What is going on?
I can imagine.
The only thing is like, what's next? Yes, is he gonna leave Grenada? Is he in Grenada? What's gonna happen? Because he's free, as you said, he's a free man. You know, so
I asked Anselm Clouden that yesterday, and his response alone kind of gave me the indication that either he left already or he's on his way out very soon.
Yeah,
that was the indication. But he's a free man; he could do that.
Yeah, England is his home, right? England is his home, and this case is nothing to do with the case in Grenada. Has nothing to do with England. So basically, when he comes here, he could do whatever he likes, isn't it?
Okay. All right. Listen, Kim. Again, for the entire family, this is like reliving the moments that happened. This is regurgitating the moments of 8 years ago, and I know it's difficult for everyone to relive those moments. But I think people need to have an understanding a conversation and an understanding as to what really happened, the gruesomeness of what happened, because a lot of people wasn't even following the case. Now they understand, and why it was so important that this guy don't walk, right? Because there are many people who might even benefit from what happened here. Many people.
I really hope so. I really hope so. I really hope, like, man as well as woman is really paying attention to what I just said. Don't fall in the trap. You know what I mean? Before he start even wanting to control what you wear or who you're friends with or whatever, that's red flag. You need to get out, darling. You need to get out. That's not love. If you don't have a job and you're dependent on him, depend on God. God is the only one you could depend on. Call up on Jesus. He will help you. Yes, that's the problem. We forget about really being right with the Lord. So hence the reason why we think we have to stay in a broken relationship. Go to God. Seek him. He will help you. A lot of people would say that is easier said than done. Well, if you don't try, you wouldn't know. So try God and you will see. You will be better off than when you put your faith and your trust in man, as we could see right now what's happening.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kim. And that's really our condolences to the family for me. Thanks again. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you.
All right. Guys, we got some closing thoughts. Got a quick commercial to run. We'll be right back. Don't move.
Chicks Export Limited, Toronto, Canada, shipping barrels and other cargo to Grenada in 3 weeks, including custom clearing and home delivery to anywhere in Grenada. They source, purchase, and ship new and used anything. Call or WhatsApp Eric, aka Greens, on 416-569-9755. That's 416-569-9755. Check us out on Facebook at Green Chicks Export or email us at greenchicksexport@gmail.com.
Now this will be the only event moving in Brooklyn on Saturday, September 24th. Get ready for Kings of Kings 2. Kings of Kings 2. Vincy meets Greens. Going down inside 178 Newport Street, Brooklyn, New York. This will be one wicked fest featuring live from St. Vincent. Magical. Magical. The Road Match King. Kemi and Malo, and representing Greens, Dash, Was Waves, Lunis Park and Electrify, Mr. Legs, Inspector, Kush, Tricky and more. Some of Brooklyn's top DJs are coming to share the place. Hosted by Big Pumps HD, and it's the official Miami Carnival send-off. Get your $40 tickets now on eventbrite.com, www.kingsofkings2.eventbrite.com, or contact 646-363-1020, 347-651-3745. Going down inside 178 Newport Street, Brooklyn, New York. Doors open 9 p.m. Showtime midnight. Saturday, September 24th. Kings of Kings 2.
Jesus Christ, mother walk. Look at people behavior.
Again, guys, we say thank you so much for joining us today on this program. One thing I would like to say is something that we always say here on this program. We talk about this a lot, and it's abuse and how to deal with abusive relationships. There is a group. I wonder if Homelin is inside. Homelin has a group, and she helps women that is going through domestic abuse, and how to first identify and how to get out. Now, a lot of times in cases and instances, people might say, well, if you are in a relationship, he's beating you up or she's beating you up, because men also are in abusive relationship as well. Just pack up your thing and go. Nah, it's not that easy, guys. There is a method to how you need to do it. So Homelin has a group. I'll put the links to that group in there, how people could understand, first identify that the scope of what they're dealing with and how to process your getaway from the relationship, right? It's very important. But bigger yet, we need to learn to identify the red flags, identify the early warning signs, the early red flags of abuse when it start to come on. When that person start telling you, don't do this and don't do that and don't wear this, that control, right? You need to identify, and if you could, nip it in the butt. Men as well as women, because there are a lot of men who go through abusive relationship as well, right? We need to join groups like Homelin Group. I'll put the links in there, guys, because I know a lot of people call me about this on a daily basis. So identify the warning signs, early warning signs of abuse, and know how to get out of your abusive relationship. I think it's important that we know that and understand. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today. We will continue to follow this story. And let me say also that we did not revoke our $8,500 reward. We didn't revoke it. All right. So if anyone out there could give us some solid lead, if there is a computer out there that was stolen, if anyone that could give us some solid concrete lead that would lead us to obtaining or having this computer return, we'd like to hear from you. Give us a call. All right. Give us a call. And the $8,500 is still there. We haven't revoked it. If there is a laptop out there If there are a computer out there, we'll find it. I promise you. All right. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today. Oh, one last thing. So someone was asking me yesterday, what do I have in my cup? I'll tell you guys tomorrow. Yeah, it's my Rider's juice. Right? Rider's juice. Yeah, my Rider's juice in my cup. On behalf of all our production team here and our moderators, Kibbs, Lois, JJ, our senior executive producer, Gail, and Deanne Fraser, we say thank you and good night. Catch you tomorrow, Friday. No drama on a Friday. Vibe on a Friday from 6 p.m. Real Vibe tomorrow. Join us for Ride Trivia on a Friday. Good night.